Hello, hey, Fur Mama. Hello, hello, hey, Misty Lee. Thank you guys for the heart me's. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, Sunshine. How are you? Hey, Shelby. Hello, Ann. Moo's here, I promise. He's right. Look, you said his name, and here he is on the desk. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the heart me's, guys. Moo is sitting right next to me. So, yeah, he's fine. Hey, Hollow Mom. Hey, Ray. Thank you, Misty Lee. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Hollow Mom, guys. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the heart me's. They really help. I know, perfect timing, Moo. Someone's asking about Moo. I'm telling you, he was just eating his food. That's why I looked over there. But he heard, hey, recliner, thank you. Thank you, Garnet. He heard the camera go on, and he hears me talking, and so he knows he needs to be here in the camera. I think it's so funny. Thank you, Ange. Thank you, Dragon. I appreciate it. But yeah, he heard us talking about him. Ivory, I need to know your skincare or makeup routine. Who just said that? Beth, so you're not the first person who asks me that. Like, I don't have any real secret. The only thing that I use consistently is tretinoin, 0.1%. And I use that at night. That is a prescription. You can either get it from your doctor or you can go to nerks.com and they will send it to you. It's a 90-day supply for $90, I think, is what it is. So I use tretinoin on my skin. It helps with wrinkles. It helps with the fine lines. It helps. It's really good for your face. And so I use tretinoin every night as part of my skincare routine. I do use a lot of moisturizer, a really good tretinoin. I do use a lot of moisturizer. I over moisturize at night. Wash my face with a gentle soap. Put on the tretinoin. I put on heavy moisturizer. And then when I wake up in the morning, I rinse my face off, but I don't wash it again with soap because it's unnecessary. I use sunscreen all day, every day, even in the winter. And again, lots of moisturizer, so that's really all I do. I don't use powder on my face. I don't dry my face out. And that's my secret. Hey, Brighton, thank you guys for the heart me's. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But that's really the only secret I have. No brands. It doesn't really matter as long as it's, you know what I mean? So yeah, which moisturizer do I use? I think right now I'm using CeraVe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. You use Nerks Liberty? Yeah, that's if I can't get to the doctor and I'm too busy, I'll just use Nerks and they send me my tretinoin. They send me a 90-day supply. 1 tube. Use it sparingly. Follow the directions really well. Make sure you look it up before you use it. Make sure you wear sunscreen. Don't go out in the sun with it. Put it on only at night. And so yeah, that's my secret is tretinoin. Hey Ado, hello, hello. And as far as makeup, literally I don't do anything. I put on some cover up or foundation just because I have a lot of freckles. Yeah, I put on some eyeshadow, mascara, and that's really all I do. I use a lot less makeup in the summer. So yeah. Oh hey, oh shit, it's Alexa. Hello, hello. Should I break from tretinoin when I go to Hawaii? Yes, I would. I absolutely would. Because just the sun there is different. And yeah, I would hold off. You can always use like a glycolic toner. Or, you know, some kind of... and I would use that in place of it. I wouldn't use tretinoin if I was going to Hawaii and going to be out in the sun consistently. Just because you're putting your face at, you know, sunscreen doesn't really work all day. And so, yeah, I would definitely do that. You want a video of my routine? I can give you one. I don't do much, but yeah, if you want it, I can do it. What kind of face makeup do I use? I use the IT. What is it called? The IT. I don't have it with me, but the IT foundation. I use a little bit of that. Yeah, that's really all I use. I don't really put a lot on my skin. I don't use powder, so I never use like a compact powder or a pressing powder because powder dries out my skin. I already have very dry skin, and so I like to keep it moisturized. So That's why my face always looks shiny. I always have one sunblock on, and I always have a moisturizer on. Once I feel it getting dry, I'll reapply. I don't care if my skin looks shiny. That's just, I'd rather have it healthy than care what people say I look like, you know? It Cosmetics, yeah, that's what I use, the CC cream one. Am I saying that right? I think it's it. Do I do my eyebrows myself? Man, you want to hear the story about my eyebrows? I survived the 90s and the early 2000s. I overplucked really, really bad. And so it was really hard for me to grow them back. I do use Rogaine on the top of my head just because during a stressful time I lost a lot of my hair. And so I Rogained them a little bit. And so, yeah, I'm trying to grow them back. And so I do my own eyebrows. I'm not great at it, but I'm just trying to grow them back. So, yeah, Rogaine. I just take a little toothbrush. I put Rogaine on the toothbrush, and I just brush the area with the Rogaine. And so, yeah, they grew back. And so they're in the process of growing back now. And so I'm just trying to work them out so I can shape them because I like mine to have a big arch. My face is too round and chubby. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. It doesn't always work out well, but, you know, I'm not a big makeup person. My grandson came home from the hospital today, Lumi. He's doing much better. He didn't need oxygen anymore. Still has a horrible cough, but it's breaking up. So yeah, he's home. He's doing well. And so I'm super excited to have him back. In fact, he's sitting with my husband in the recliner right now. So my daughter went home to shower. She was in the hospital with him and, you know, stuff like that. So thank you, Mama Bear, guys. I really do appreciate the heart me's. So you don't have to, but I would absolutely appreciate them. It really does help. So yeah, Crystal, yeah, the baby, the little one, the little guy, Elijah, but he's doing a lot better today. So I'm super glad that they kept him, they suctioned him, monitored him, and he's doing a lot better. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sin. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, hey, canceled. You want to come up? I know you're not talking about Jip, but did you hear? So we could talk about Jip. I just was answering questions. I feel sometimes with the lives they get crazy, and so I want to make sure that I give you guys a chance to just chat, you know? Oh my goodness, what has happened with these boxes? Hold on, I gotta fix them.
Hey, I don't know what's going on with the boxes.
There we go. That's a lot better.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm good. Just hanging out. Got just done cleaning my house and yeah.
Man, don't even mention. I gotta go scrub my carpet. I gotta rip out the carpet cleaner. My grandson spilled grape juice on my
Oh,
grape
that's the
carpet.
worst.
That's what I will be doing tonight while y'all are hanging out on lives and stuff. Ivory will be carpet cleaning her carpet in her den. So
Oh, that's
there's
fun.
that. Do you think?
Yeah, what?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Someone was just asking, do you think Ken is mad about Jip showing pictures of the baby to Ryan? Hell yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think he's um very mad.
I think he's over it. I think he's really over it, her nonsense. There's no
I
doubt in my mind.
Yeah, it just keeps happening. She has no self-control, it seems like, or self-awareness with no care for others. So I think he maybe hoped that even the baby might make her change a little bit. But I think it's ramped her up more and made her more uh, just unhinged almost.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you. And the fact that she's being caught out, well, first of all, how long do you think she's going to be on this? No, thank you, Crystal. I appreciate it. How long do you think that she's going to be on this no social media, the hiatus?
Um, I give it till Monday, possibly over the
You're,
weekend.
you're
She's gonna
giving her
have
a
to
lot
hold.
more credit than me.
Yeah, she's gonna hold it in. Something's gonna come out, and she's gonna hold it in. And I think Monday, the after the show, she is going because I don't think it's gonna look good. She is going to um, have to make a TikTok to try to make herself look better.
Oh, I'm telling you, there's no way she can stop posting. She's done it before. You remember her saying like, I'm not going to post anything in my public one. I have to post for the show, but I'm not going to be posting anymore. And that lasted all of a couple of days. So
Yeah.
I give it, man, you're giving it till Monday. I think that I feel like this weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in 2 minutes from now. Honestly, that's just,
I'm not gonna lie. Has anybody else? I never check the chick's account. All right, I never do. I blocked her. I never check her account. If I get videos of her, it's because people send them to me. I'm not gonna lie though. Today I'm like, man, I know she's gonna post. I know she is. Let me check it. And I've been checking it all day long because I'm like, there's no way she can stay silent. There's no way. So I'm sitting there like checking it like a mad woman.
what I find really hysterical is she admitted on live that she got mad at Ken, so she had to unfriend him. Like, how juvenile is
Man.
that?
Not even is that juvenile though, but think about it. Really think about it, okay? Oh, thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much. I wish I really looked good like that in a cap, and I don't. I look like crap. I can't get away with baseball caps, but that look cute.
Crap in a cap.
Seriously, crap in a cap. But no, you know what the whole thing is it's one thing for like if I'm pissed off at my husband doesn't have social media, but if I were and I got mad and unfollowed him, well, first of all, I mean, whose husband is going to be like, oh my gosh, you unfollowed me on social media? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not really like only they would have, only in their relationship would that be a reaction thing. Thank you for the penguin, Susan, so much. I appreciate it.
He did that so the public would know. So she would think the public would think he did something bad.
She did it for the public because she knew that we all watch and she knew that we were going to notice that she unfollowed him. So it wasn't even about him. It was about letting us know that there's something wrong with them. It was
Yeah.
never about unfollowing Ken in the first place.
Well, the fact that Christy did it too, I think that's very telling.
Wait, Christy, wait, hold on. I didn't hear that. Christy.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
Christy unfollowed him too.
Yep. Tell me that wasn't a concerted effort to try to take him
Hold
down.
on. Wait a second. So I knew that she unfollowed Ken.
Yep.
This is how much I don't stalk these people. And they all think I'm obsessed in stalking them. But Gypsy unfollowed Ken, but so did Christy.
Yep. Same
Yes.
time.
Now tell me that that wasn't a statement for the public.
That's what I'm
Exactly. I mean, think about it. A normal person, when they, of course, everybody gets in arguments and disagreements with their spouse. They get mad. But a normal person isn't going to go and unfriend and then have her stepmom unfriend. Like, a normal family doesn't do something
No.
like that. Thank you guys for the gifts.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
My husband doesn't get me on the lake soon. I'm telling you what, I'm gonna unfriend him on Facebook. I am.
Not Facebook now. That's all different.
That's
I just
really all
think
he's at. So.
that Christy gets involved with this nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think it's an effort. I think it's just like they did with Ryan. Christy played into that. Ryan was, not so nice to her. Ryan was controlling, and Christy played into that narrative because that makes a public statement. I think they're doing the same thing to Ken right now.
Yeah, they are. Exactly.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
He needs to watch out. But I don't know. I
Hold
wonder
on.
sometimes if he's smart or if he's just I don't know. I don't know if he's figured that out yet.
Paradise just said, thank you guys so much for the gifts. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Paradise just said, Ivory, Christy unfollowed Ken and then followed Ryan.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
That's a whole different statement.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Why did I not know this? Because I don't follow these freaks. That's why.
Well, and also because, not everybody reports back to Ivory Rose Nose, just saying.
Right? Man, listen, seriously,
I know, right?
all these people I got, like all my minions and nobody sending me the good stuff, like the content.
No.
Man,
You better report everybody to HR immediately.
right? That's it. You're all fired.
Or
No.
are we wrote up?
I'm gonna-
Are we demoted?
We're demoted.
I need people to guys. I do not watch their pages, so I really do need y'all to let me know. Hold on. Whoa, wait. Why am I just finding this out? Hold on.
Because she did the poo video, and that was just
I couldn't resist. That was content gold. I couldn't resist that. If y'all haven't seen my Poopgate videos, you gotta go watch them.
Gate.
Audrey Rose has the scoop on the poop.
Right, that's
there
what I'm
you
saying.
go.
Who knows has the scoop on the poop. But y'all, Christy unfollowed Ken but followed Ryan. Why is my brain just not comprehending this nonsense?
I will say I heard that they both did, but it was brief, but I don't know the validity of that. So
Yeah, and they're back following Ken. So everything is kumbaya.
Did she unfollow Ryan?
I don't know.
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, guys, you're right. It is so petty. It's all a game. Diana, you're right. Y'all, that is a mess. That's making Christy just as much of a manipulator as Gypsy.
Oh, yeah.
That shows you right there that this whole thing is all a freaking game.
Yeah. Oh, unfollowed. Red said unfollowed Ryan afterwards. So they unfollowed. And that's messed up for Ryan as well. To follow him, probably unblock, follow, and then unfollow. She's, he's, I feel, emotionally fragile almost at this point because of the things she has done and the lies she has told and him being thrown under the bus. In my opinion, I feel like though Ken is going to be in the same boat as Ryan here soon because the chase is over. She's got him if she wants him, but the chase is over, so it's not as fun. That's my opinion, but
Man. Gosh, this is just as much of a manipulator. Thank you, Astral. Thank you, as Gypsy Rose. And that just shows that they're all just pawns in this game of this sick family. And I used to think it was
What happens
Gypsy.
when you're on the payroll?
I used to think it was Christy. We all know my feelings against Christy, okay? But now it's like this whole family. Thank you, Raven, for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you, Melissa Mom, for the follow. I appreciate it. But think about it. Just make this family is that much worse. They're all in on this game. Mm-hmm. They're all in on this game, and it makes them look so bad. Like Christy, you could see her doing damage control, trying to make herself look better. Thank you, Francis, for the follow. I appreciate it. Y'all, if you're just joining in, make sure you follow. Also follow the people on the panel. Their content is great, and so just make sure that you're following both Sunset and Samantha. Thank you, Jew. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's just why I can't believe I didn't know that, man. Thank you, Tipson, for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Sorry.
No, you're okay. I'm glad people,
I just want to make sure I acknowledge people.
Yes, because you guys are important, with this chat too. I want to hear other people's opinions on it as well and theories.
Who wants to come up? Who's got something that they want to have an input? All right. Let's see, Froggy. Guys, keep it respectful. That's all I ask. Froggy. Hello, Froggy. Maybe?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm from the UK as well.
Oh, awesome. I
Yeah.
appreciate you being in here.
I
Thank
always
you.
watch you.
Oh,
Well, I think, right, it was Ken that did all the games from the beginning.
you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, what makes you think that? That's interesting. I never really
I don't know,
thought
it's just, he's the mayor. It's just like, he planned it with Christy, so Christy told Gypsy, and then Gypsy got back with Ken. It was all his plan to get
I feel like
back.
you're right. I feel like it definitely could be Ken and Christy.
Yeah.
But
then
now,
I think
why would-
they've got a weird relationship as well.
you think those two have a relationship?
It's like a weird relationship. It's like when all that episode when it comes and they go, Parker loves me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it was overreacting.
Yeah.
Maybe at first because it brought views and
Yeah.
money. Ken was helping them gain the money, and now maybe he's wanting to put a halt on being so public, and that's cutting into the funds, and Christy and them are not happy with that.
Yeah. I think that's why he's trying to get back with Ryan because he's got a good job.
Yeah. That's a really good. Wow, that's giving me something to think about. That maybe it's Ken this whole time,
Yeah.
and now maybe Christy and Gypsy calling him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, that definitely could be a thing.
I feel like
Why would you
Christy.
dump someone and then want to get back with them how many years later after he's married and has been with someone else? You know what I mean? Say like, I don't know. It just don't make sense to me.
It's right, and she just dropped his girlfriend of 5 years to come back with
Exactly.
her. Like,
Yeah.
who puts 5 years into 5 years into a relationship is a long time.
Yeah.
That was an actual frog.
Did you just croak? Like,
I was
living?
no, it's my phone had a notification.
Wow!
Oh, that's so cute.
I was like, wait, the frog just riveted.
Yeah, it's my
That'd be
notification.
amazing if you could do that. I would be like,
There it is
that all the
again.
time.
Sorry.
That's
I'm
so
trying to
funny.
put it on silent.
Mm-mm. Well, frogs croak.
Thank you,
Everyone's in there
frog.
like,
That made my day, actually, Froggy.
I
love
know,
it.
that was cute. That was, yeah.
I
That was
don't know how
really
to put it on
cute.
silent. My phone
Yeah.
is updated and I just don't know how to use it now.
I need to teach my phone to be like, there's that. There's that. You know?
That's cool.
Correction, the girl left him, Yato? So Ken's girlfriend left him? Or did Ken leave his girlfriend? Thank you, CJ. I appreciate it.
Or did Gypsy scare his ex-girlfriend and made her run? I would have. I would have been like, no, thank you.
You
It's
know
highly
that.
probable.
Hell yeah, you know that could be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think
Now,
that. Yeah, I honestly think that Christy saw that Ryan was more of an alpha male when it came to running his own home. And I think that made her nervous because as they were married and she was still in prison, he obviously couldn't control her finances and whatever. But I believe that once she got out and wanted things, remember she asked to buy a house. Remember when
yeah,
Gypsy wanted to buy a house and Christy and them were like, no, or whoever was controlling the, whatever. But Ryan kind of wanted to, give Gypsy whatever she wanted. And I think that he was trying to vie a little bit for control of those finances. And Christy pulled a Hail Mary and called Ken. Ken was like, I'm down. Let's do it.
yeah,
And, he was offered a little stipend maybe to come down and shake things up.
I agree.
But then I
Well,
think
yeah, I
Gypsy,
mean,
and then
if
he
you
went,
think
oh,
about
no.
it, it was a payday for Ken. He didn't, have to work, and he could just film and oopsie, here comes Aurora,
I
and
honestly
then
think he wasn't ready
it
for
got
it.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hollow Mom's right, though. It's always about the money. Well, we know Rod said that
Mhm.
too. It's all about the money. Follow the money. Wherever the money's going to go is what their story's going to be.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let me see who wanted to come up here.
Yeah, I like Froggy's perspective on that. She's very. She put a lot of thought in it.
That was an angle I never really looked at. Like, could it
Yeah.
go? Yeah. Hi, Diana. Diana? Maybe?
Maybe it was an accident.
It could be. Diana, you there where you can... I guess not.
I've done that before where I accidentally requested and I didn't know I was on live and I was like talking to my kids.
That's so funny. Pull your pants up and stop, biting the
Yeah.
dog when you're on a live.
Like, hand me a diaper. So,
Hi, Christine, you there?
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm good. It's really early in the morning. So I
Oh.
tapped the wrong button.
Oh, I
But
could
no.
right?
I do have to say this. I really, my gut says that Gypsy and Ken have got married.
oh, yeah.
You think so? A lot of people are saying that. You really think that?
I do really think that. I think that's what the break's about. They've gone off to have some alone time. and it's going to come out probably in the last season, would be my guess.
Wow.
Yeah, they could be filming like
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
If they're married though, it's not because Ken wants to be married. It's
no.
because the show needs it. She needs a storyline. Her and
Yeah.
Christy need it for their narrative. But it's not because Ken wants to be married. Because all the times in the interviews that she's done with Ken, she drops the hint, I need a ring, I want a ring, the ring, are we gonna get married? Like, the whole fake, she was even manipulating that therapist, talking about I only want him to be with me because he loves me, not because of the baby thing. Like all of that was pressure to get married. But he
Well,
never said that he's going to marry her.
with the
no,
ratings, and they came out I think a couple months ago stating there was a season 3. They probably need another storyline to get that show, you know, to see if it gets any more ratings, or I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, and possibly to get hold of the baby,
Yeah.
because married, he has more legal rights than if he's just her partner.
You know what though? You're right, especially after the whole threat with I will fight for custody baby and go to Texas.
Yeah,
I wonder if he would marry her just for that one up of if I'm a husband, I get a little bit more leverage. It's looked a little better, I think, in the courts.
yep,
And
definitely.
maybe splitting assets so he had money to her, half of her money to fight for custody, because you know he can go, and typically because she is a convicted second degree unaliver, typically a judge will always grant the other parent who is not custody of the child, but she may have more money to fight that in family court, and he would be probably left out dry. So if they ever did get married, he would be, what's hers is his and what's his is hers, and get maybe some income. If they had a house, they'd have to split that.
Yeah.
I still wonder about that house, the one in Metairie.
I
I
feel like
think
the
it's a
house
lifetime
is a
lease.
lifetime. Yep.
I mean, I don't know, but
I absolutely believe that. I believe that's for filming. I believe that because again, Christie's house, their little house is really tiny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really small. All that filming, all those people. Would it even be possible to film in there? And look, all of the things that they did film were always in the garage or outside because the house
Yeah.
is so small.
or
And
the
I think
couch where Christy passed out.
yeah, right? I mean, yeah. So I think that all of that whole house thing was for a lifetime, so they had a place to.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what they
know.
do with the Honey Boo Boo Sister Pumpkin. They rent a house out while they're filming. It's not their actual house, and film in there, because it's clean, it's it's bigger, it's nicer, and puts a narrative out there that they're maybe doing better than they actually are
Look at the
financially.
Goslings. The Goslings got that big house out in Pennsylvania, that big, huge house that was bought for them by the network, by TLC.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It happens all the time. So, yeah, I don't think it's their house.
I think they
And again,
negotiated that into their contract.
definitely,
I,
that was a
I
Christie move.
yeah, I definitely think so. But I don't know how handy Ken is, or but when you move into a house, you paint a wall. You know what I mean? Like you do things, you decorate a nursery, not just put furniture in it. None of that
Yeah.
was done.
Yeah, they don't have too much stuff in there, and it's probably because they
Right.
weren't sure if they were picking up a third season. And
Right. It
now
just
she's
feels like
moving
a
into
lease
the
house.
house because I believe that, I mean, there's going to be a third season. Like I've been saying that for, quite some time that I was told there's going to be a third season. And so I feel like now that there's a third season, of course she's going to move into it, and it's worth furnishing the house and all that stuff.
Well, she's sitting there, and she got, I think, a couple of strollers on her registry, and then she's like, "Oh, I bought a $400 stroller with a carrier." Well, maybe you should be thinking about buying a car seat for when your daughter is a little older, not a carrier, because in a couple months, that's going to become too heavy. and a waste of money. And if that's the case, go buy some decorations for your house at Hobby Lobby. You know,
Well,
Yeah.
my daughter has a baby that's exactly to the day 1 month older, or possibly the same age as Aurora. I'm still on the fence with that one. But she was born November 28th, my granddaughter, and she's almost out of her carrier. Like, you can almost put her in, not as far as a car seat goes, but to, just I don't know. She's big, so that maybe will last her 2 or 3 more months at the most. Why would you buy a stroller with that type of apparatus? You know what I mean?
Not even buying the stroller that cost that much money, but let's be real. She was on a live with Bree talking about I got $50 in my pocket.
Yeah.
Well, you could have had 400, $650 if you didn't go buy an extra stroller you didn't need. I'm just saying, there's some financial tips.
Maybe she
Contact
just
me
says
if
that
you
so
want.
they don't ask her for money.
Yeah.
or
I don't know.
her allowance from Mike Stanfield in the LLC. He said no more for the month of May.
You know what I think that whole live about the whole I only have $50 to my name. I gotta ask my dad for $200. Well, first of all, how do you know you need $200 if you still got $50? How do you know you're gonna be short $200, right? I think that was a lie. Number two, again, look at the whole. I didn't know that they unfollowed Ken and followed Ryan and did all that nonsense, but I feel like that was a way of her throwing Ken under the bus, acting like you're out here working all the time. I've got the baby all the time. I'm broke, and you won't even give me money for diapers and wipes. It's throwing shade at Ken. I think, in my opinion, that she's throwing shade at Ken.
Sorry, four-wheeler just drove by.
Look, he's back.
Oh, hi, honey.
Baby,
Back.
Oh,
He
my
looks so much
goodness.
better. He's
how
looking
are
at his
you
mama.
feeling?
He looks so much better than he did.
He's so cute.
Oh, Ivor, he looks so good.
He does. He sounds so much better too.
Oh, thank
He's like,
God.
He's like, where's my mother go?
I love his name because it's my
Elijah?
baby's name.
Ivory, can you make my box go away?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, Froggy.
Hi.
Hold on. Let's see if somebody else wants to come up. I got some people in here. Is it my friend Diana? Hello, Diana. How are you?
I'm fine. Can we try this again?
You can
Oh,
try
she
again.
accidentally
Absolutely.
requested again. You're pulling to me, Diana.
Huh? Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep.
Okay, that's good. The audio wasn't working before, so I don't know what happened there.
Oh.
This whole situation with all of them, it's all about the media, what they can get from people, and the unfollow and follow. That's all a game. That's just trying to get views.
Yep.
See what I can do today. I was a corrections officer for 8 years. I worked at a juvenile facility for 5 and an adult facility for 5. And, I seen it at its finest. The manipulation, the family members and other people to get what you want while you're in there, And, as soon as they walk out them gates, it's like, who? And the whole thing about Ken and Gypsy, I don't think they'll ever get married. I don't believe that. Ken's probably got a backup plan somewhere. If he's smart, he would have a backup plan.
Ken's backup plan is just leaving. I don't think he wants to be there now. I think he's really just feeling like, now I got a kid. Not that I think the kid is going to keep him around, because I think he'll end up leaving eventually anyway. However, I think
She trapped him.
baby.
She point blank trapped him.
She did. I agree with you.
Christy had to get her away from Ryan before Ryan locked her up because they can't control Ryan.
Right. Yeah.
And Ken was one they could control.
Yep. I agree with that.
And I mean, I know you watched that apology thing. That was all done for views. Because if I'm apologizing to, let's say, my ex for something I wronged them, I'm not going to get on social media and make a post. If you're not Ryan Anderson, keep scrolling.
Yeah.
But then that little comment she made right after that was, but I know you will watch. She knew everybody was going to watch, and it was all an act. I mean, I wonder how many onions Christy had to cut so they could get her crying.
Well, there were no tears, so not very many. And then you have the whole, that was all done for manipulation purposes.
Yes.
Because even during the apology video, it was still putting blame on him. She never
Yes.
took accountability for anything she did.
No. No.
It was very it was throwing other people under the bus too. Christy and Rod's marriage, fighting with Ken, and it was blaming everybody else around her instead of taking accountability. That's not postpartum depression.
No, no. That's just manipulation. There ain't no postpartum there.
Right.
You know, when I worked at the prison, I always told new officers coming in about, you know, how inmates would act toward them and push them, you know, see what their line was. They'd be willing to, you know, not cross and cross. I said, it's kind of like fishing. They're going to throw a bait out there and see what they can reel in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I completely
And,
agree with that.
you know, my opinion, she should have never been let out to begin with.
I have bacon and eggs. Thank you for the follow. Great name.
She should have never been let out.
Yeah. No, I agree.
No.
She should still be
Yeah,
in there.
I agree.
Absolutely.
You know, they gave her, I would like to meet the prosecutor and see what, you know, and ask him what was going in your mind to offer her that kind of deal when they clearly had evidence that she was far more involved.
Thank you, Jossie, for the follow. I appreciate
You
it.
know-
Thank you, Dylan, for the follow. I appreciate it.
You know,
So you just said it right there. I want to ask the prosecutor why she got a sweetheart deal. And I'm going to tell you right now, because the prosecutor needed her to get a sweetheart deal, because if they started looking in, thank you, Katie, for the follow. If they started, thank you, friend, for the follow. If they started looking into all of her fraud investigations, every organization that was going to back his new organization that he was trying to build, all of that would be on halt and they wouldn't be able to go through with it because they're underneath a financial investigation, even though it wasn't them who was wrong. Thank you. Oh,
okay, but you know, on the flip side of that, she could have been still, you know, not offered a deal and then been convicted, and even though they could not probably not got no money, she could have had more time added if she was convicted of financial fraud.
right. But they couldn't let that investigation go through, or Dan Patterson's whole organization would have been halted and stopped. There's no way. He had to get rid of all of that. There could be no investigation. And, you know, it was said by the police officer guy, and I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head, in that interview on the news, that they were doing an investigation for the fraud. Do you all remember that? Does everyone remember that?
Yes, I remember
and then
that.
now, if you
Yes.
contact them or you try to ask them for documentation of that investigation through like the whole FOIA Act, now they're saying, what investigation? There was never an investigation. No investigation happened. Bull crap. Because
They were trying to investigate it and got shut down by the prosecutor because
Yep.
the prosecutor wanted a conviction.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, they're all trying to hide that. And now they're trying to hide the cover-up game. You know what I mean? Dan Patterson could not let that fraud investigation go through. He needed his organization. He needed money to back it, to get it up and running. He needed other organizations backing, and it would look bad for those other organizations to, you know what I mean, to have all of this investigation going on. Meanwhile, look at everybody who sits on the board of Dan Patterson's organization. You got the police, you got the all of it. They're all sitting there, all of them.
Kind of like Karen Reed case. They're all connected to each other, and it's very political as well.
I don't think people realize the amount of corruption that actually does happen. Everyone's like, that sounds so far-fetched. No. I'm
It's
going
not
to
that
tell
far fetched.
you, when you're talking politics and money and organizations and making a name for yourself, I can assure you people will do some shady shit to keep their narrative going. It happens
yeah.
more often than you think. Literally, we all see it every day. How many times have our friends come to us, regardless of where we're working, and said, hey, I need you to do me a favor. You know, can you get me into the carnival for free? Can you get me a bracelet for free? Or, you know what I mean? Can I get into a movie for nothing? We all do it on every level. You mean to tell me that politicians and all of them don't do it? Hey, I need you to get me in for free. Hey, what can you do for me? I owe you a favor. It happens on every level. Even more so in stuff like politics and and stuff like that. So, we've all done it. We've all been there. We've all asked a friend for a favor.
Right, like a discount or your employee discount, or when I worked for a large internet providing company, I would, my family, I had to tell them to stop contacting me to get them deals because that it was constant. Hey, do you guys have a sell on internet? How can I get that? And I'm like, I tell them every year, you do this, that, and the other. And then it got to the point and I'm like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, it's waste. It's too much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It happens on their level too. When you're talking about big money, big people, big names, favors owed get even bigger, and you know what I mean? It's just on a bigger scale. But it happens. All of us do it at one time or another. You know what I mean? You have a good employee who really does well, but they messed up that one time. And you're like, I'm just gonna not see this one time. It happens. We've all been there.
Well, and then there is on Karen Reed, there is, I think, about 5 police officers, yay, that have been either fired or disciplinary action for basically botching the investigation. Now, with Gypsy and Christy went through that house and took stuff, and I honestly think placed things too, to keep that narrative of Munchausen by proxy against Dee Dee.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and if I was Dee Dee's family, and I don't know these people from Adam, at all. The narrative that they're putting out there, not just Jip, but also, Rod and Christy and all them, is a Munchausen by proxy. You can't diagnose an unalive person.
Right. Absolutely not.
And, and so I feel as a family member, I mean, she did wrong, yes. Dee Dee did, by scamming people.
Oh yeah.
But, at the same time, they're dragging that poor woman through the mud.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like Dee Dee and Gypsy should both be sitting in prison for fraud. But I don't think her, she is a victim, and I can't sit there and blame her. She was a single mom, trying to make ends meet, and Gypsy's dad was not around and had a whole other family.
Yeah.
And left them.
And then he wants to come in and act like father of the year.
Yes. Yeah. And that really, it's Gypsy's having trouble right now, and she does have support from Ken. She does have support from Christy and Ryan and her sister probably, and and Ryan, like I said too.
And she's still having a hard time.
And she's having a hard time. And that's okay to have a hard time as a mom. Imagine how her mom felt to be cheated on.
Yeah, exactly. Why Christy allowed Gypsy to come live at their house is for the money, to get her out away from Ryan, and for control of the money and the narrative. I think if it was the fact that Gypsy didn't have no money, there wasn't no book deals, there wasn't no Lifetime movie deals or whatever, I don't think that Christy or Rod would have allowed Gypsy in their home.
No, they didn't want to know her for the first 24 years of her life. Now all of a sudden she's got a story that they can make money off of. That's the only reason they have anything to do with her. Let's be real. You don't love her. You don't even know her. You weren't around for 24 years. None of you know her to love her. Oh, she's our priority. We love her so much. How do you love somebody you don't know? Kid or not.
Right.
You can't love her. You don't know her.
Yeah, and the way that they were so quick to sell out to HBO for the Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, and to go on these interviews and paint themselves as, hey, we're really good people. But, Rod, Christy, if you really cared about Gypsy and she was an actual sick child and you believed she was a sick child, driving 10 hours for your child, suppose if you weren't able to see her supposedly, which is a lie, is nothing. You would go and you would check and you would make sure she was okay. So that lie that they're spinning is debunked as well. There's nothing that they can say to excuse their prior behavior of being absent.
Yeah. It's got that scene, the tattoo scene when he's at the tattoo shop.
Well, yeah, yeah, they were not involved until the dollar sign started popping up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Red just said, Ivory, side note, Gypsy banned the toothbrush emoji. It's filtered from her comment. How funny is that?
Yes.
That's so funny.
We all should get her address and flood her P.O. box with toothbrushes.
It's dumb. Mail her an Oral B. That's so
I'll go to Dollar Tree and buy her one for $1.25 and send it to her.
Right? I think that's so funny.
I will send her some mint toothbrush too, so she'll be minty clean.
Man, too bad they didn't have a biscuits emoji.
Yeah.
Darn, man. Some biscuits and gravy. Used toothbrushes. Oh God. Ooh.
What's biscuits and gravy?
That's so funny. What's biscuits and gravy?
Yeah.
Literally like a muffin and gravy on it. Yeah.
Oh, so muffin to me is a cake.
Yes.
Oh yeah. More like a roll, like a dinner roll, kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah,
something like that. Y'all, I need to get a sticker. I need a biscuits and gravy sticker, like actually like a biscuit. Just saying. I think that's so funny.
But I do know, and like I said, I worked in corrections for 8 years, and half that stuff that she's saying, that she did in prison, probably didn't do.
Yeah.
The 5-hour phone calls, no, that never happened. That never happened. And I was at a minimum security, facility for adults, and there's no way. Now they did have tablets, and they can make phone calls and stuff like that from their tablets, but at a certain time in the evening, those were shut off. And there's no way. No.
Nope. All right, let me see who else I can bring up.
Well, I will let you go so you can bring somebody else up, but I appreciate you having me on. And
thank you. I appreciate you for coming up.
Every video you post, I watch.
Thank you so much, Diane. I appreciate it. You come up next time, too.
All right. Well, you have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, our prison system, they let the prisoners go shopping for food.
I'm telling you, they're not really treated that bad.
No, them treat them like royalty.
Hey, Red.
Hey.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So they banned the toothbrush emoji.
Yeah, it's filtered from her comments.
That's so funny. I can't even. That's so funny.
But so she says she's unbothered by it, but obviously she is.
She is if you had to block it. I can't. That's so funny. What do you think about this whole Ken and Gypsy thing?
Ooh, well, I think that there is a very calculated strategy on a storyline going on, but I think Gypsy's very impulsive. So she posts these things and throws a wrench in everything, and everyone has to go on damage control.
Yeah. Yep, that's definitely happened. I think she's setting him up to look really bad. To play victim to Ken now. I really do believe that.
Absolutely. Right from that first scene at Tana.
Yep. Yeah, the whole, oh my gosh, not the dinner scene where, did you guys hear her in the bathroom crying? Like, Ken didn't know she was in there crying. She was in that bathroom. They didn't take obviously they didn't take the cameras in. You can only hear the microphone. And she's in there sniffling like she was crying. Like, let's be real. She was definitely, from the beginning of this season, setting him up to look horrible.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, it's wild. Absolutely wild.
I think the sniffling was planned and staged by her. She knew the microphone was on, and she did that on purpose.
Right. And then you have to think, Gypsy, she works with the productions, right? She knows what's going to be in the show. But Ken, however, I don't believe does. So it's all a surprise for him. And all of a sudden he's sitting there watching it. That's why these fights are breaking out. He's sitting there watching it going, why are you making me look so bad? I really think that he's just over her. Like, he's catching on to her sneaky ways.
I also think
when
was that big of a deal at the restaurant. Like a normal person would be like, I'm not eating that. I will order this and order it. Like if my husband was like, oh, we're going to have squid, I'd be like, no, thank you. I will, because I don't like seafood. I'm going to order something I like. Like, hello.
Well, that's it. First of all, my husband never orders for me. I'm
mine either.
He knows better. However, if there was for some reason, I was with a kid, taking care of a kid, and he needed to order for me, my husband knows me well enough to know what I want. He knows exactly what's on that menu that I will eat.
Yes.
So there's no question. You know what I mean? Like, it may not be something I wanted to try today, but it's going to be something that I can absolutely eat and enjoy. And so, that just shows.
The only thing
tried to shame her.
Yeah. The only thing my husband wouldn't know how to order is coffee because I have, But other than that, he knows what I want from the Mexican restaurant, Italian, whatever. He knows what I get.
Yeah. Someone just said, rumor is Ken works at Tana. Really? I never thought about that, though. That's a possibility.
I want to interject real quick. Red, I love your content on Gen X. I am just saying.
Oh, thank you.
It's so good.
That.
It's so true. She's really great. You guys, everyone needs to give her a follow too. She's got some really great content for people of a certain age.
Oh, thank you. Us old people.
Yes, all the adult people. She's really good.
Oh, that hurt. I felt that in my soul.
Yes, it is so funny. She has me rolling all the time.
Well, if you like that, you need to watch the ones I did about Gypsy's bean.
Yes, I have. I've seen it all.
Wait, I didn't. Gypsy's bean?
You gotta go watch it.
There's 4 of them.
It's
Ivory, she's good. She's good, Ivory.
I've seen her videos, just not about Gypsy's bean. What am I missing? What bean? You know what? I don't want to know what bean. I will go find that out all by myself. Nobody has to tell me.
I'll send it to you.
Well, ladies, I'm off. I'll go get my daughter to bed.
Oh, thank you for being up here, Froggy. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. See you later.
No problem. Bye.
Froggy.
There is something I want to bring up, though, that I haven't really heard anyone talk about. Ken in the show said that Gypsy did not want him at the doctor's appointment because it was too invasive.
I did catch that. That's crazy to me. First of all, it doesn't look like he went to any of the appointments, which I thought was really weird. But really invasive, my husband was there at every appointment. What's so invasive? Like a vaginal exam?
Well, I mean, if they're going to be in the delivery room, that's the most, my husband looked at me after I had my baby, my second one, and he said, I don't know if I can look at you the same, not in a bad way. It's just different,
My husband said the same thing. He's a little more scared of it. But
that was weird.
My whole thing is, first of all, you were all up in there to make the baby. So
yeah, and not to be crude, but remember the comment that she made about his skills? Obviously, he had his face down there. What's more invasive than that?
That's what I'm saying, and you couldn't be in the room. And again, it's not like the doctor's like, come over here, let me show you what I'm doing. Let's be real, they're not doing that. You're standing in the corner just making conversation, and you know what I mean?
You know what I think it is? The doctor knew something, and she didn't want him to find out, so she was trying to hide it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. One, it was either a previous pregnancy that she's not telling anybody about, and she didn't want him to know, or something about something. Was it about the dates? Was she lying to him about the dates? Was he really there seeing actual dates and having because even when they found out he wasn't there, Christy called him after they found out and made sure she was pregnant. Christy ended up calling him at the end of that visit. We've never seen him at a doctor's visit with her. Never heard about him being at a doctor's visit with her. And then that one, it was too invasive. He couldn't be there, and that was her excuse. And then did he actually make it to the delivery? Because I feel like, why is she going to a hospital and you're not with her?
Something's off.
She's sitting out at the hospital and you're just hanging home until the time comes. Like, that was weird to me too.
I think they weren't together.
No, I agree. I agree. I think that there were problems, and that baby being born kind of, that false sense of, okay, we're in love again, and just for a couple of days, and then it all broke loose again.
And then maybe her telling him not to come to the doctor's appointment was a control tactic.
Yeah, just, I don't know.
Or she was hiding something, or both.
Or both, yeah. I just feel like he's never mentioned going to the doctor, hearing the heartbeat. And if you remember, when he went to the ultrasound, it was at a place, like one of those little baby ultrasound 4D facilities. He never went to the doctor. Like, she was at the doctor having ultrasound stuff done, but he was never there in any of them.
The only time they showed the doctor, Christy was with her.
Yep. Every time.
My husband didn't go to like every doctor appointment, but my third trimester, he went to every single one. And after all my babies were overdue, but we made sure he was home. Like, he could, the store, he would go to the store and keep his phone on him just in case. Like, that was the furthest apart at that time.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's really weird about that whole doctor visit thing. I did catch that, though. When we were streaming the show, I caught that. I was like, that's wild.
That's been bugging me.
Yeah. I don't know. That really is weird, though.
And the other thing that's bugging me is in her apology video, that little motion she did with her hand on her neck. What's up with that?
What did she? I'm trying to think back to the video.
Yeah, it was in the apology video.
This one?
Do it again?
Was that this one? When she did that? Yeah, that was, yeah, we know what that was.
That's creepy.
Yeah, that's very threatening. Coming from a convicted murderer. You know what I mean? We all know when we do this, what that means. That's done. Finite. Over. So, did Indigo address that little movement? I need to go see that.
Oh, I need to go watch her latest one.
Yeah. I know. I need to go see that video because, I would love to see what she says about that. But I already know what that means. So, there's that. That's wild.
Yeah, that creeped me out.
Yeah, it's a new day thing is crazy. She said it was nothing. Oh, I think that's making a statement. That is like the exclamation point of that statement.
Yep.
That's wild. I don't know. I just feel like there's such a mess lately. I think she's talking about sides for a reason. She was doing it, Waterfall, in the video, the apology video to Ryan. Or not the apology video. It wasn't the apology video, was it? It was the one where she threatened him. Where she was drunk, supposedly, allegedly.
Oh, the one with the ghetto accent.
Oh, what was that? That was wild. The fact that she changes her accent all the time, just depending on which personality she is crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I don't even think she knows who she is.
No, she don't.
I'm from Washington State, and I live in Mississippi. My husband and his family are all from here. Sorry, and I haven't changed my accent to fit in.
Yeah, me neither. That's wild. She has a personality for each day of the year. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I mean, I get the influence on somebody when you're around people that have a certain accent, you'll pick it up a little bit, but not changing your entire accent from day to day.
Yeah, depending on your mood, depending on what you're talking about, and what your content is about that day, it's wild. Hey Beth,
Which
how
wig
are
you're
you?
wearing?
Hey.
Yeah,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Trying to survive the South Carolina weather. The heat.
Look, I'm in Virginia, and it's hot as hell here. I can imagine it down there.
Oh God, it's terrible. But I'm wondering, how did she get so out there like this? How did Gypsy get known as well as she did by doing this? How did people find out like that? Because the whole world knows now.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to your lives and everything, and I'm trying to put it all together and figure out how did she get all the way out there so people knows so much about her.
They worked really hard to put her out in the public. They worked PR hard while she was in prison to make sure there were documentaries. And let's be real, everybody, or at least everyone I know, watched that documentary, watched that movie when it came out, because the story was absolutely brilliant. I don't believe it's true. However, the story behind it is, it had everything. It had, love and murder and, abuse and all of the things, right? That makes a really great emotional story. And so that movie really helped her. Everyone knew who Gypsy Rose was. That's when I believe she first became a name.
And she was also very well known, her and her mother, in the community for getting charity.
Even before that. And then you have to remember all of the work that Christy had done. They were working on books in there. They were putting her story out constantly everywhere. Even before she got out of prison. Interviews were being done in prison. Dr. Phil, all the big names were interviewing her. They made sure that she had the publicity everywhere before she came out. They literally set that up. She already had contracts signed. She had cameras waiting right at the gate the day she got released from prison. All of that, they worked hard those 8.5 years to make sure that they had a story when she got out. They worked really hard on her publicity.
Why did they want that, though? So she could be famous and have lots of money, more than $50, that we know she's got more than $50.
Exactly.
I mean, I sit here and I watch it, and then I listen to you guys, and I find out even more, and I'm like, holy crap, and then I really do think Ken's going to end up leaving her and taking
he does not want to be with her, in my opinion.
baby.
I think he is too. The fact that she allowed it to be aired, that he made that threat, I think all of this reactions to him and all of this, the whole $50 thing, I think was a dig at Ryan. I mean, it was a dig at Ken, because let's be real. Who's going to be broke and asking daddy when you got a man working there, he's not going to help you out? I think she's trying to make him look bad, and I think that's to get back at him for even making that statement to begin with. I think he might have signed his own death certificate making that statement to her. You know what I mean?
And that's the scary thing. I would hate to even go to sleep in the same house with her.
No.
If she can do that to her own mother, what else is she capable of?
You're not even blood related to her, Ken.
Yeah.
You're a guy who left her and has pissed her off in the past. Why does he not think that she's not going to do anything, or can't or won't do anything to him?
Yes, because you sit there and you're watching it and you see the looks Ken gives, and then you look at Gypsy and it's like, oh God, she's up to something. It just feels like she's totally up to something, and I think that she's going to do something when she comes off parole.
Oh, yeah.
And she's notorious for retaliating.
Yes.
Yeah. She has no self-control at all.
And look at what she did with Nick, Go to John. She groomed and manipulated him with false hope, like she did with Ryan, to get her way. For Ryan, it was to get out of prison and somewhere to stay for that moment. For Nicholas, it was to unalive her mother and get all the money in the house and everything, and be with whoever.
Look at her now, though. Now she's doing it to Ken. She played Nick and Dan, right? It was those two against each other. Nick knew about Dan, and Dan knew about Nick. They were not, they knew about each other. They knew the relationship each had with her, that there was something there. And it's the same thing that she's doing now with Ryan and Ken. It's playing both sides, playing them against each other, using as collateral, manipulation. It's just, she keeps repeating the same toxic cycles.
How do they not see that? I mean, honestly, how can
they don't want to see it.
But knowing you've done what you done to your mother, she's capable of anything. That was pretty cool right there, that lobster. But, knowing she did what she did, how do they not know and think in the back of their heads that she could do something to me? How does she?
They have to. There's no way that, first of all, she unalived her mother.
Yes.
You let her in your house and just let her all of a sudden start calling you mom? Who's trying to be mom number 2 to the mommy murderer? Make that make sense.
That's what I'm saying. I cannot make any sense to none of this. I would be
They're choosing
locking
not
my
to see
doors and everything.
Yeah,
It's
and
because the money and the fame is the most important thing to these people.
she's a master manipulator too. I mean, she's been doing it since she was a child. So she knows like how to manipulate and make people feel bad for her and believe her because she's so good at lying and manipulating that they don't question it. They take her word maybe and believe it. Because how can this, innocent, poor, abused girl, lie? Well, that's who she is. That's her MO.
Yep.
Yeah, she's got the skills, and then to back that up, she's got her small stature, the high voice that she was doing. You put all those together, toxic.
That is definitely toxic.
Look, I live in the country of South Carolina in a small town, but I still lock my doors. And if I saw Gypsy Rose come up, I'm not going around her because I don't trust her.
My kids would not be in the same class as her kid.
No.
I would not shop. I wouldn't go have coffee at the same coffee shop that she frequents. I would not. Absolutely not. And they say,
never seek her out either. Hell no. I ain't seeking her out or trying to run into
the
her.
whole she's my BFF. I met her. Now we're BFFs. Oh my gosh. Crushing and fanning over someone who is known because she had her mother stabbed 17 times, y'all.
And you know what? I had a friend, her grandmother, Diane, who had a granddaughter named Lily. She went missing. Well, guess what? She was stabbed over 100 times. And she was only 21 years old. And they have still, to this day, 5 years, have not found the person that did it. But the last person that was seen with her, they let go. Make that make sense.
Oh, wow.
She gets her mom stabbed 17 times. Lily, who had 2 sons, and they let everybody go. They said they don't have nothing, to go with. 100 times, and the guy that she was with, and they found her body just right down the road from his home.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So,
you know the energy it takes to stab somebody 100 times?
Yeah. And I used to, I've known her since she was a baby. So, and when I went looking for her over everywhere I possibly could, in woods, everything, nobody could find her. Then all of a sudden, a farmer went to his field, and he found her, and a mile down the road from the guy that she left with.
Oh my goodness!
But he's not in jail.
That's
100 times is rage and overkill. That's someone who knew her.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Gypsy gets by with, she went to jail for a little while, but Lily don't even have peace. Nobody focus on, finding. We looked and we called the jail all the time asking, hey, can you give us some information? There's no, there's nothing new.
Oh my goodness, that's horrible to not know and all of that. That's a horrible situation.
Yeah, and so when I see that Gypsy is living her best life and everything, I'm like, wow, she does that, but Lily doesn't have, we don't have closure for Lily. Make that make sense, because there's no way. So
And and sometimes these big messes like this and these complex cases, the victim gets forgotten about. And I think that's why a lot of us want justice for Dee Dee.
Yeah,
yes,
that
because
absolutely happened in
how
this case.
look, I lost my mom 6 years ago, and to this day, I still have the hardest time. But you learn to cope. But I could never have done something like that. My mom
Yeah.
was my best friend. She was my hero. And I'll be 46 next week. And, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, how could someone plan to do that to their mother for 2 years? It was 2 years, correct?
2 years. Yep, 2 years.
And now she's out just living life like it's nothing.
Living a better life than somebody who didn't unalive their mother. And just, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I don't understand. You have all these people who have been out there and actual abuse victims who really were abused and didn't murder their parents, and they're not getting the life and the opportunities that this chick is getting based all off a lie and a murder. That's not really fair.
No. And I've been wanting to come up on and talk to you, but I was like, I gotta make sure I know what I'm talking about before I pull up on this thing. Because I don't, because you hear so much. So I go and watch the show, then I'll turn to you and be listening and everything. I'm like, holy crap. And are they going to do a third season?
So I was told, I want to say about a month and a half ago, by a really good source that yes, they picked up for a third season. They will start filming the beginning of June.
Oh wow!
If they're going to use the content, and I'm not sure, but I did hear that they're filming starting in June.
Oh.
So yeah, there's most likely going to be a third season. Yeah, and I think because of the role and all the other crap that she could potentially get herself into, marriage, a breakup, who knows? It's going to be something. She'll make sure there's a storyline there.
I feel sorry for the baby.
I do too.
Oh, me too.
That's who I'm thinking about the most.
Yes, that's the one most innocent human in that whole bunch, is that poor sweet little baby that is, unfortunately going to grow up with a stigma that by others because her mother decided to take her grandmother out. The only person that ever, I think, truly, in my opinion, loved Gypsy no matter what, and she took her out.
Yeah, I agree with you. The one person that loved her, and yeah, that's what she did. So be careful when you want to sit there talking about, I love her, I love her.
Well, how come, okay, if her mom was so bad and she would sneak out and everything, why didn't she go get help?
That's what she had. She had a cell phone, she had a laptop, she had access to money, and she had a bus pass. The only thing that she didn't have to make that whole situation the perfect getaway is motivation. She had no motivation to run away. She wasn't really being abused, because if she was, she would have had the motivation, and she had everything else was already in line.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this had nothing to do with abuse,
No.
in my opinion.
No. And if you go back to Nick's trial and you watch her when she testifies, they ask her, what made you kill your mother? And her response wasn't because I was in fear for my life, I had no choice. Her response was, I needed to get out of her hold. I needed to get out of her control. And I believe that her control was she had psychological issues, hypersexuality, and I think that she just wanted to be with random men that she met on the internet. And her mother was like, no, hold off, that's dangerous. Her mother, in my opinion, her mother knew that about her. And when she would block Gypsy from being with these men, that was the hold that she had on her. And that was her word when they asked her, why did you kill your mother? I wanted to get out of her hold.
Wow.
Not because
I also think that Dee Dee being in poor health there at the end, Gypsy didn't want to get stuck taking care of her. She was a burden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have that too. She was getting older. She was going to need care, and we all know that Gypsy can't do anything for anybody but herself. So, yeah.
Well, I got to get off here, but it was so good to talk to you finally, and I'll be watching, every day that you're on because I really enjoy hunting.
Thank you so much, Beth. I appreciate it. Come back.
I will. Thank y'all. Have a good one.
Thanks, Beth.
Bye.
All right, y'all. If you're not following everybody on the panel, everybody who was on the panel, guys, go give them a follow. I am going to end here because it's 4:00 and I got a little one waiting to go to soccer practice. So I'm going to get off here. Red, I appreciate you hopping up here. Be sure to hop up next time because I love having a conversation with you. Sam, I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you guys so much. Everybody in the chat, guys, thank you so much for the heart me's. Thank you, all of the new people that followed. I appreciate it. And
Thank you
guys,
for
I'll
the
be on
gifts.
live tonight. So I will see you guys tonight. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.